Assalamu alaikum and very good morning to all of you dear students. We are learning class 9 science biology. In that we are learning the mind map of chapter number 6 tissues. Dear students, previously we learned about the definition of the tissues, that is the group of cells that are similar in structure and work together to achieve a particular function, which is called what? Which is called as tissue. Then after we had learned about that tissue is divided into two types. The main classified into two types tissues are plant tissues and animal tissues. We were learning about the plant tissues in our previous video, that we had seen that plant tissue further divided into two main types of tissues, that is meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Also we learn about what is meristematic tissue, that such tissues who have the ability to divide further, means with their in their whole life they have only one function, that is division. Then we had seen about the types of meristematic tissue, that three different subtypes of meristematic tissues are apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. After meristematic tissue, we had learned about the permanent tissue, that the particular tissues which lose the ability to divide further, they fix into a permanent shape, size and function. Such tissues are called as permanent tissue. In permanent tissue, again permanent tissue is divided into two subtypes, that is simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissue again divided into three main subtypes, that is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Till here we had learned, dear students. Now today we are start with this video with complex permanent tissue. Okay. Once again, why complex permanent tissue is called as complex? Because the cells which are present in these tissues, they are not with the same shape, size or function. All the cells present in this particular tissue are different, having different shape also, having different size also and different function also. Means different kind of cells are present in one tissue. That is why such tissues are called as complex permanent tissue. Okay. Now complex permanent tissue is again mainly two types, that is xylem and phloem. Now what is xylem and what is phloem? Dear students, if we human being require water, yes, we all know that water is a very survival, very necessary thing for each and every living organism. So how can we get water? Of course we drink the water from our mouth and our body gets water, but the question here comes that how plants get water. So one particular tissue is present inside the plants which allow up each and every part of the plant water. That is what? That is xylem, a vascular and mechanical conducting tissue also known as wood. Actually xylem is a Latin word. Xylose means wood. That is why its particular tissue is called as xylem, which is responsible for transport of water and minerals from roots to other parts. Of course, dear students, we know this, that the roots of the plants absorb water from the soil and then transport that particular water into each and every part of the plant. Even surprisingly, dear students, I want to tell you that have you ever take a closer look of a leaf? If you had taken, dear students, that you have seen different veins on the leaf, so in that veins also xylem is present, means water is transported to even each and every corner of a particular leaf also. So now you people are clear with the xylem, that xylem is a particular tissue which helps the plant to transport water from roots to each and every part of the plant. Okay, now the second type of complex permanent tissue is phloem. What is phloem? So same question I want to ask you here, dear students. How human being gets their food? Of course we eat from our mouth anything, the food, and our body gets the food. But how the plants getting their food? Yes, you all know, dear students, that is photosynthesis is a particular process in which plant is making its own food, and that is the reason that plants are called as autotrophs. So once the food is prepared inside the leaf, how that food transported to each and every part of the plant? through phloem. So what is phloem? A vascular tissue also known as bast, responsible for transport of food from leaves to other parts of the plant. Getting, dear students? Of course you all know that leaf is known as the kitchen of the plant, but how that particular food transported to each and every part of the plant? Through phloem. So getting the function of xylem and phloem, dear students, that the function of xylem is to transport water to each and every part of the plant. From where to where? From roots to all parts of the plant. Whereas what is the function of the phloem? The function of the phloem is to transport food from leaves to each and every part of the plant. Okay, so here we had completed about the plant tissue. Now we are moving with the animal tissue. So first of all, animal tissue, what is the main definition, or why animal tissues are necessary? Have you ever wondered? Now only we had learned about the plant tissue. So do you think, dear students, that the plant tissue and animal tissues are same? No, they are not same at all, and reasons are also there, because plants are not locomotory. Plants have to stay at one particular area, at one particular place. They cannot move from one place to another place, whereas animals have the locomotion also, as well as with the locomotion, animals are with locomotion also, they are doing another functions also. So animal tissues are totally different from the plant tissue. So animal tissue organization is based on active locomotion, as now I already told you, dear students, because animals can move from one place to another place. Okay, so first of all, the animal tissue, four types of animal tissues we have to learn in this chapter. That is epithelial tissue, then second is connective tissue, muscular tissue, and last one is nervous tissue. So first we see about the epithelial tissue. What is epithelial? So if we break the word epithelial, that epi means up and thelia means surface, that is upper surface, or we can say the outer layer. So it is the covering and protective tissue which is tightly packed. It is present in skin and lining of the mouth. Getting, dear students, where epithelial tissue is present? Epithelial tissue is present at the particular outer covering. Either it is present in the outer covering of the internal organs, or present at the outer covering of our body. For example, skin. The outer covering of our body is skin. So the skin is made up of which tissue? Epithelial tissue. Now epithelial tissue is divided into different subtypes. The first is squamous epithelium. What do you mean by squamous? Squamous means flat. So such kind of tissues are very flat, that is why they are called as squamous epithelium. Simple flat kind of cells form a delicate lining of esophagus and mouth, maybe several layers thick as in skin, known as stratified squamous epithelium. Getting, dear students, such particular tissues which having very thin and very flat cell, that is why they are called as squamous epithelium, and the squamous epithelium is mainly present in the lining of the esophagus and lining of the mouth. But sometimes what happens, this squamous epithelium having the layer one over layer, and that particular epithelium is known as stratified squamous epithelium, which is present where? Which is present in skin. Okay, second type of epithelium is cuboidal epithelium. In the word only cuboidal, it is the one word is hidden, that is cube. It means that such kind of tissues having cube shaped cells. That is why this tissue is known as cuboidal epithelium. So cube shaped cells have rounded nuclei and form lining of kidney tubules and ducts of salivary gland. Getting, dear students, where this cuboidal epithelium is present? The cuboidal epithelium is present in lining of kidney tubules and ducts of salivary gland. And what is the function of this tissue? To provide mechanical support. To whom? To the kidneys and salivary glands. Okay, now the third type of epithelium is columnar epithelium. Of course, columnar means column like cells are present. So the structure of cells in this tissue, they are tall pillar like cells, have elongated nuclei. Where they are found? They are found in inner lining of intestine. And what is the function? The function is to absorb and secretion. Absorption and secretion is the main function of columnar epithelium. Now sometimes what happen to this columnar epithelium, dear students, they having a finger-like, hair-like projections on their epithelia. That hair-like projections or finger-like projections are called as cilia. So as columnar epithelium having cilia present on there, they are called as ciliated columnar epithelium. Where they are found? They are found in trachea and bronchi. Now why the cilia are required at particular portion? As we talk here about the trachea and bronchi, so they are main parts of the respiratory system. Yes. So what is the function of the cilia? To rhythmic movement of one particular substance in one direction. That is why some special cells required such kind of cilia. Okay, now the last type of epithelium is glandular epithelium. Sometimes what happened to cuboidal epithelium, that cuboidal epithelial tissues having a particular specialization to secrete something, and that particular tissue is called as glandular epithelium. So what is glandular epithelium? That certain epithelial cells acquire additional specialization. Which kind of specialization? To secrete some substances from the epithelial surface, and this tissue is called as glandular. Such kind of cells are called as gland cells, and such kind of tissue is called as glandular tissues. So I hope, dear students, you are clear with the different subtypes of the epithelial tissue with their location and with their function. Now moving with the second type of animal tissue, that is connective tissue. From the name only you can get the idea, that is connection between different parts of the body, that is connective tissue. So it connects various body organs. Now connective tissue is further divided into 5 different types. So let's see the connective tissue first. First is fluid or vascular tissue. The first tissue is called as fluid tissue. What do you mean by fluid? That you all know that any kind of liquid present inside our body, which is called as fluid. So what is the function of fluid tissue? That is, it links different parts of the body and maintains the continuity of the body. For example, blood. Of course, dear students, that blood is present in each and every part of our body. So what is present inside the blood? That we all know, that is RBC, WBC. RBC means red blood corpuscles, or we can say red blood cells, white blood cells, then platelets, plasma. What is the function of RBC? To get the oxygen or to transport oxygen to each and every part of the body. We know that RBC, red blood cell, having hemoglobin, due to which it looks red in color. With that hemoglobin, oxygen is attached, and that oxygen is transported to each and every part of the body. Whereas what is the function of the WBC? It is the defense system of our body. It fights with the bacteria, viruses which are entered in our body. So the first type of connective tissue is fluid tissue. What is the function of the platelets? So platelets help in the clotting of the blood. So these are the fluid tissue. Now second type of tissue is dense tissue, which is fibrous connective tissue. Consists of densely packed collection of fibers and cell components. Such kind of tissue is mainly made up with the fibers. For example, tendons and ligaments. What are tendons and ligaments, dear students? That they are the particular tissues which having the elasticity and great strength. They are generally attached with the bones. Now the third type of connective tissue is skeletal tissue, which forms endoskeleton of vertebrate body and provides protection to the vital organs of the body. For example, bone. Skeletal tissue means bone. Now the next is areolar tissue, which supports and packing tissues found between the organs lying in the body cavity. What is the main function of the areolar tissue? To pack. It is one kind of packaging tissue which is found between the organs of our body cavity. And the last is adipose tissue. Adipose tissue generally present below our skin, and the main function is it serves as a fat reservoir. Means it reserves fat, it stores fat and keeps visceral organs in position. Getting, dear students? So these are the different types of the connective tissue. Now moving further with the muscular tissue. What is muscular tissue? That consists of elongated cells and is responsible for movement. Dear students, one thing you know that animals can move from one place to another place. But how this movement possible? So this movement is possible with the help of two tissues, that is muscular tissue and nervous tissue. With the combination of muscular tissue and nervous tissue, only the movement is possible in animals. Okay, now see the subtypes of the muscular tissue, that is striated muscles, which are mostly attached to bones and help in body movement. They are also called as voluntary muscles. Voluntary muscles means a particular muscles which act with our will. Means if we want to move them, then and then only they can move, otherwise not, they cannot move. For example, our hands, our legs, if we want to move them, then and then only they can move, otherwise they will not move. So such kind of muscles are called as striated muscles, as well as they are also called as voluntarily muscles. Now second is unstriated muscles that cannot be moved according to will. They are also called as involuntary muscles. For example, our heart muscles. If we want to stop our heart muscles, can we stop them? Of course not. So such kind of muscles or such kind of tissues are called as involuntary muscles. And the last is cardiac muscles, which are mainly present in heart, and the main function of the cardiac muscles is to show rhythmic contraction and relaxation throughout the life. And we all know that contraction and relaxation is very required for the heart to pump out the blood. And the last is nervous tissue. What is nervous tissue? That enables body to respond to stimulus. What do you mean by stimulus, dear student? That stimulus is a sudden change in the environment, that is called as stimulus. They transmit stimuli from one place to another within body through neurons. For transporting such stimuli, we having special kind of cells present in our body, which are called as neurons. Means nervous tissue is made up with the which kind of cells? With the nerve cells, or they are also called as neurons. So here, dear students, we had completed about the mind map of the tissues. I am sending the link of this tissue in the description box, so please write it down into your notebook with a neat and clean handwriting.